Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro and Expert in the Silver State Tournament. The video here is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Also hit that bell button so you get a notification every time there's a live stream or a new video. Also, if you do want to get the text guides for the Silver State Tournament or maybe any other tour that you're struggling with, then you sign up on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Last but not least, visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. In this playthrough, you can find the timestamps in the video description down below. You can find a note on the top here on the screen for every hole where it's going to give you the elevation adjustment. And if you do have any questions, just let me know. And we go to hole number 1. And hole number 1, we're going to start with the more called a safe route, and this is the route that we're going to take every single time if we're not having a tailwind. So 10% extra, I'm using max topspin and 2.5 bar side spin to the right, and I'm using a marlin. You could decide to choose a different ball if you do not want to go with overpower or just want to reduce the overpower even more. So with like a navigator with a katana, that would obviously be less overpower with that shot. 10% extra, and now we do have a chance for the pin. And here we are going to play on the fairway. I know there is a rough bump here, but the rough bump is both a good way, but it's also a glitchy way. And it's kind of like, for me, it has been like a 50-50 route, and then I don't want to really go and suggest that one to you. Depending on the wind in the tournament, we might going to play it the rough bump, because that wind might be suitable for that type of rough bump. But now in this example here, we are going to play in a way where we go and bounce the ball on the fairway. 10% extra, very important, and then we're going to be nicely there. So second shot, and we do have somewhere in between a short iron and a long iron. That obviously isn't the ultimate type of situation. If we do have this type of situation, I would choose the short iron if we do have the ball guideline for it. And in this case, we do have the ball guideline for it because we do have a thorn level 8. But if you don't, then it's going to be hard to read the ball guideline. Then I would rather push my target further up, go with a long iron, and then use more backspin. We adjust, as I said, for a 10% extra, and then hope that we're gonna get it in the hole. This is going to be a hole with a lot of eagles on when we're playing this one in the tournament. For the more aggressive route, or let's say the tailwind route basically, you do need to have at least 5 bars of topspin, and I would say 6 is the ultimate type of bars that you do want. First bounce on the fairway there to the right, second bounce in the rough above the bunker there before the fairway starts. The thing that's going to happen here now is that I'm going to get the ball to bounce too close to the rough here on the first shot, so the ball is going to carry over the rough and the sand and roll into the bunker on the back of the green. And that's okay, we're still going to have a sandwich to get the eagle. So if you do have a tailwind, you're going to want to take this shot to give yourself the best possible chance of making the eagle. So with that being said, we go to hole number 2. Hole number 2 is going to be 40% downhill, and here we're playing with the sniper, and I would like us to go for a rough bump here. I'm using only 4 bars of topspin. We would like to go with 4. I'm using 3 bars topspin, sorry. We would like to go with 4. And we do want to use the rough bump here, as when we play so much downhill, it's going to be so hard to read the compressed or the extended ball guideline when we bounce on the fairway, as once again, it's so much downhill. So therefore we use the rough to get, a bounce in the rough, then to get a roll towards the green. The worst case scenario, we're going to roll short and we're going to stay on the fringe. But other than that, we're going to get the ball close to the green, or like to the pin. So we go to hole number 3 here, and with hole number 3, we're going to start with a drive that's going to be 10% downhill. And now when we have this type of wind, I would like us to go with a power 3 ball, a Titan for that matter. We can go with a Kingmaker as well, choose the one that you do have the most of. And the reason, once again, is based on the wind. If we would be having a crosswind or a tailwind, I would go with either a quasar or a katana instead. But as we do have headwind, we do need to go with more distance, and I do not want to be able to go with max overpower if I don't have to. I go with a little bit more overpower than what it did show when I was aiming here that I needed, but that is because I do want to gain a decent amount of distance, because I want to play with a sniper for the second shot. I don't want to have the big dog or the cataclysm as a shot that just gonna be a transportation shot towards the green. 10% extra for the drive, and I'm using 6 bars topspin, as much side spin to the right, but also around 75% of the ball in curl outside the adjustment ring to the right. And that curl could be different, obviously, and we do not have to go with curl with certain type of wind, etc, etc. So the curl is basically just a feeling adjustment, not something that I as a player watching this would take for a must when you play this hole. Second shot, we're going to play with the sniper on the fairway, bounce it up towards the green. Even though this one looks like a easy shot, it's not. It's a terrible shot due to its inconsistent first bounce, inconsistent green, and therefore it's going to be a lot of luck if we're going to get this one in the hole. Sure, it's still going to be some skill, but it's more luck on this hole getting it to drop than it would be on other courses. 10% extra for the second shot as well. So with that being said, we go to hole number 4, and hole number 4 is a par 3, 10% extra, and we're playing it with a power 2 ball. And a power 2 ball is a katana in this case, because we get wind resistance 2 as well. We do not really need the side spin here, as we are going to play straightforward, going for the rough bump. 3 bars backspin, 1 bar side spin to the left. Here I'm using a little bit more than 3 bars, and you're gonna notice that I'm going just short. I'm gonna be around half a yard from the hole. Very good chance making an hole in one there. And this is a perfect example of where you can use a lower level sniper. You do not need a sniper 10. You can play this easily with a sniper level 5, because we don't need any distance, and we're still gonna have a good accuracy and a good ball guideline with a sniper level 5. So do that and get this one in the hole. So with that being said, we go to hole number 5, and hole number 5 here for us is going to be a shot that we do play up to the right. And the reason I do want to do that, it's due to the wind. Once again, if we do have a headwind, I play to the right. If we do have a strong crosswind, I do play to the right. I leave the left side completely alone, as I believe the second shot from the left side is going to be much tougher to get in the hole than it would be for on the right side. You can see with my ball guideline adjustment or a ball guideline position, I have in the second bounce to show that I'm gonna bounce on the fairway. But the thing that I really want to do is to get second bounce to bounce in the rough to roll out on the fairway. Because the thing that's gonna happen if we bounce with too much topspin over the rough is that we're going to roll into the bunker, as you can see here on top. And that's going to be basically say bye-bye for the eagle from distance, but you know, it's not going to be any danger if you get it down there into the sand. You will easily reach to the green. But at least on every par 4, we do need to at least have a chance making the eagle from distance, and then the chance is better playing from the fairway than from the bunker. Let's say we have the wind turned around, we play with a tailwind, then we can actually go for the green in 1. We can go full blast on the left, in the center, trying to get the ball to bounce on one of the fairways there, and then to carry all the way through the rough and onto the green. So if we do have a tailwind, that's going to be the thing that we are going to try to do. Even with a crosswind, we could actually use the big topper and use a power 5 ball, max topspin, and then rely on the luck of the ball rolling through the rough. And if that's a type of wind that we're going to have from the second tee, it's going to be a must eagle when we're playing this one in the tournament. Second shot from the right and from the left, as you can see on the note, is going to be 20% downhill. So that's a little bit more than if we would be playing from the center. But very important here to aim on the green. We do want to have the first bounce on the green, as the fairway before the green starts is going to give us an inconsistent bounce, and that's not something that we do want to have. So we go to hole number 6 here, and hole number 6 you're gonna see two options. One where we play in the center, as we're gonna do now, and we're going to do that with a 10% downhill adjustment. We are not in complete maximum distance here, so you cannot play it max distance numbers. 6 bars topspin and as much side spin to the left possible. Yellow ring by the rough, and then we're going to apply a little bit of curl to the left. Reason we do want to apply the curl to the left is because otherwise we're going to get the ball to get stuck in the right side of the rough. When getting this one over here to bounce and then in the rough and to roll out, now we have a very good chance for the pin. Note down the yardage that you're getting, 338 in this example, and then we're going to have to, then we build our adjustment based on the yardage. And that's going to be a good possibility to get that shot in the hole. Because when you play with yardage, the thing that you do want is that you do want to have a straightforward drive. You do not want to go a lot to the right or a lot to the left. And you also want to have the second shot to be as straightforward to the pin as possible. Which we have here. This is kind of the ultimate situation. Because the distance then is going to be very much reliable. And therefore we note down the yardage and then we build the adjustment. When you do build the adjustment for the second shot here from the center, you do it without any elevation. You also aim for the hole. So you aim for the hole and not as I'm doing here. I deliberately move my ball guideline to the right side of the cup, as you're gonna notice in just a little bit, but that's a mistake. And we do want, like this is the perfect that we do want the ball guideline to be, but you see I moved it to the right. Why did I do that? Because that's harder to replicate than if you would be playing straight forward there. So aim for the hole, then you adjust, no elevation, you're gonna have a good chance getting this ball in the hole for an albatross from distance. But let's pretend then that we cannot really play the shot that we wanted to. Like we cannot play straight up and we have a headwind that is gonna make it difficult to play to the left. Then we play on the right. And then we use the quarterback as it gives us curl. If you do have an apocalypse, you use that one instead as it gives you more distance, and then you might not need to play with a power 3 ball. But here with the quarterback, we do need to go with max overpower, max curl to the right, 5 bars top spin, and as much side spin to the right possible. So a lot of max, a lot of stuff here that we do need to think about. But the right side is only, like, that's the third option for me playing this hole, because I do not believe that that is going to be the best way to play. I believe that the center is the best way to play, but the wind decides if we can play that way. Otherwise, the left side is the better one for me, as the rough bump there is much more reliable. And the third way is going to be the right side, where it's basically just going to be a way for us to get the eagle with a small chance for an albatross, in my opinion. Here I'm using the long iron instead of the wood club. It's because I do have the tree in my way. At least that's what I feel. I don't want to take a risk that my ball is going to cut the tree in any form and then fall short. So here I'm just playing it safe, using the top spin with my Goliath. No elevation for the second shot, and we're going to just bounce that ball up towards the pin. In the end, this was hole number 6, and we are gonna go to hole number 7, which is going to be the last part 3 of this playthrough, which also is going to be a very good chance for us to making an hole-in-one. And here, once again, we're playing for the rough bump. So we use a backspin that's going to be with a tailwind. It's going to be around 4.5 bar backspin. I would say 4 and a click is going to be the better one. We do not want to go short, especially when we play it in a tournament. Then we do want to get the ball to have a chance. When playing with a power 2 ball and a sniper, and once again, you can play with a sniper 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. You don't have to have a sniper 10, so don't focus on the level of the club. 1-to-1. 5.7 miles per hour gives you 5.7 rings with a power 2 ball. It's going to be slightly different with a power 3 ball and a power 1 ball, as power ball has an effect. 10% extra, and if we hit perfect here, we would be getting that one super close, getting it in the hole. Last part 4, we go to hole number 8, and we're going to start by using max side spin to the left, which is 4.5 bars and 4.5 bar top spin. I would say 5 bars of topspin is okay, but that's gonna be on the little of the high side. We do want to play with a decent amount of topspin though, so we can get the ball to bounce on the fairway over the rough sand and water over to the other fairway. This is also a perfect hole to go with yardage notes, because we're playing a basically straightforward drive and we then have a straightforward shot towards the pin. 10% extra for the drive, very important. And I'm also using a little bit of curl, as we do have, when we bounce the fairway, the ball is going to bounce to the right, and we do want to compensate then with some left curl. If we do have wind right to left, we don't need any left curl, otherwise we do need curl all the time. So now second shot for us here, and I'm going to go for a backspin shot. The reason I go for the backspin shot is because I do not really like playing with a wedge in max distance. I'd rather take a short iron in like a minimum distance or something like that. And now, you know, with the knowledge that we're having, I think this is going to be a better off as a dunk instead of going in the max backspin shot. This is going to be a tough one though, and I would rather see ourselves going shorter with our drive to be able to bounce our ball up to green and roll to the hole than going with this type of shot here. But that's, you know, all depends on what you feel comfortable with. No elevation for the second shot, but nonetheless it's going to be a very good chance making an eagle from distance, even though we missed that one big time. Last but not least, we do have hole number 9, one of the toughest and the longest courses we do have in the Golf Clash game. So here it's going to be easier for you to make a par than it's going to be to make an eagle. And that maybe sounds weird when it's a par 5, and that should be like an easy eagle as worst. Max overpower, play with as much topspin that you possibly can, and if you do not have 6 bars topspin with your driver and you only have an extra mile of a 7.654 and you have 4.5 bar topspin, that's going to be a problem for you. Then you might have to lay out before the rough and then have a very tough time with your second shot. So this hole can be very, very tough. It can also opens it up for, you know, a chance for the eagle if we do have a decent wind where we can reach. Kingmaker, very important here in my opinion, reduces the wind, gives us distance. Wind resistance 3, power 3, very important. Now, when we went so short while cutting the rough roll out, then I'm going to just play it safe. I'm going to give myself an opportunity. I'm not going to try to go overpower and go straight forward and hope that I leave myself up with a short iron or a long iron. I'm just going to lay up to the left and then take a shot with my sniper from distance. So there is multiple ways to play this hole, but it all depends on what type of drive you can make from the beginning. If we can make a drive where we bounce over the rough and the sand without clipping the rough in any form, then we play straight forward and we would be able to have a short iron or a long iron to bounce that up towards the pin instead, by basically be at the position where you can see the target of the Malibu of our opponent is now. But then when we didn't have it now, we play the safe route, we play out to the left and we take the sniper approach. If we do have a complete straight tailwind and a strong tailwind, then we can pull out the power 5 ball, go full blast overpower, trying to get as far as possible for the second shot, then to be able to reach as far as where we are aiming now, so we can bounce that ball up towards the green and then to putt for an eagle. But that's only if we do have a straight tailwind. So that's gonna be super tough to even get, because once again, it's the game makers that do decide if we do get that type of wind in the tournament or not. I take my approach, max backspin here. We could have reduced a little bit, but this third shot as well is gonna be without any elevation. So I repeat the elevation as it says on the note, 10% downhill for the drive, nothing for second shot, nothing for third shot. And in the end, we're getting kind of close making the eagle, but it's going to be a birdie. And that's what's going to happen for most of you that are playing this hole. That's going to be a birdie, and then we will have to be satisfied for that. So for pro and expert, I do believe that the wind obviously has a big factor. There is a good opportunity for hole 1, hole 5 and hole 8 when it comes to the par 4s. I also think, depending on the wind, hole 6 will be a massive opportunity based on yardage notes as a par 5. When we come to the other 2 par 5s, I don't really see us dropping that much. I see an eagle on hole 3 be fairly easy. I see, you know, an eagle on hole 9 to be, yeah, not easy at all. The par 3s, especially hole 4, and we do have hole 7 with the rough bumps there, is going to be a very good chance for an hole in one as well. I do see, without any extras, we're going to have a -11. But I do believe we're going to see players shooting around -28 to 32, depending on what type of wind we're going to have. Please let me know in the comments below what you think the score will be in Pro or Expert Division to win. I'm talking about there. I think the score will be obviously much lower to get to the weekend round. In the end, sign up on patreon.com/golf-tommy to get the text guides. If you do want to get more content for the Silver State Tournament or for any other tour in the game, you visit golf-tommy.com. You can also find note sheets now if you want to print out and write yourself. You can find that on the website as well. That's actually news. So look and check that out. Thank you so much. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Good luck in the Silver State Tournament.